Hi peeps, welcome back. Today I am going to be using some of the yarn that I got from my mystery yarn bundle. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it down below. There were so many ideas for, in particular, this chunky monkey. This is Lion Brand's Woolies. The issue I had with it is the colour. If many of you will know me, and I don't really do grey, so I put out a poll on TikTok and on Instagram and all the other good social media places and asked for ideas of what to do with this, and there were a few good ideas. Some people suggested to make an amigurumi elephant, but a lot of people said to weave a rainbow yarn in with it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've got this yarn. This is Shayshen Mayer's Bravo colour yarn that I bought some time ago. I've used it for a few little things like earrings and things like that. So I'm going to put this and mash it together, and we're going to get something really colourful and chunky. We are also not going to be using a crochet hook. I know you've come here for a crochet video, but we're not using a crochet hook today. We are going to use these. Just our hands. I am going to show you guys how you can finger crochet with some super bulky yarn. A great way to get into crochet, a great way for kids to get into crochet as well, because it's really easy. You don't need to use any tools or anything like that, and you can still do all of the stitches with your hands that you can do with a hook. So if you're ready to come on this journey with me, let's get into it, and we will flip the camera and see what's on the table. Okay, so what we're going to be using for this is the woolies that I got in my mystery yarn bundle. We'll just go to the back and we'll just show you that the label actually calls for a 90mm hook. Now, I haven't got a 90mm hook anyway, so it made sense to use this for something like finger crochet. This is jumbo yarn, and there is around 240 grams in here, so I'm hoping we're going to make I'm going to try and make something like a scarf with it. We'll see. I've got 2 balls, so it might work out. And then the other yarn that I've got is this Shayshen Mayer Bravo colour. If I'm not saying that right, please feel free to correct me in the comments. That's absolutely fine. Bought this a while ago. I'll try and find out the colourway and leave a link to that in the description as well. But I just thought I'm not a fan of grey. It needed something, and this is it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this together with this, and we're going to finger crochet with it. So let's get into it. Okay, so you can see I've used this a little bit already. My yarn's a little bit kinked, as it were, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. It should still work out fine. So I'm going to hold the 2 ends together like so, and you're going to start off with a slip stitch exactly the same as you would if you were putting these onto a hook. So the way we're going to do that is we're just going to fold the yarn around my fingers into a cross, bring the ball end up and over the tops, and then we're going to pull this back loop over and off. It can be a little bit fiddly. And then that's your slip knot. And already I'm loving how these are going to loop together. Okay, so finger and thumb through, pull through, finger and thumb through, pull through, and you can see as I'm going, I'm just holding the end in my palm, pull through. So I've got there now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So that's my 10 chain. And you can see on one side it's got the bump on the back, and on the other side we've got that V shape. I'm not saying it's going to look perfect because you're using your fingers. However, it's really, really quick, and it's great for kids, this one, just like finger knitting is. It's a great introduction for them. So I've got 10 and I'm looking at it here, and I'm going to just go for maybe 15 because I'm not happy with the length of that. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So remember, just like a crochet hook, to keep your finger in the last one so it doesn't unravel. We'll go and have a look at that. Okay, so that's a great length. I'm trying to make like a really chunky scarf. There's colour in there that you can see. It's not too overpowering, but it's just enough for me to be happy, basically. So I've got 15. I'm going to put an extra one in. This is going to be my turning chain. So exactly the same as when we're crocheting, you need a turning chain. So that's my extra one. And then in the second chain from my finger, so 1, 2, what you're going to do is you're going to push your finger exactly the same as crochet through the top loop. If you're using 2 strands together, just be careful of your colour in here. So that's my top loop colour. You're going to bring thumb and forefinger through, pick that yarn up and bring it through, and you'll have 2 loops just like if we were crocheting. So a lot of the stitches can be made exactly the same way. We'll go on to a half treble and a treble as well, but it's just imagine your finger and your thumb are the hook. So your finger is the resting hook, your thumb is doing that pulling, so your thumb's sort of like the end of the hook, and then we're going to yarn over again and pull it through. This is just a little bit trickier because I've got 2 colours on. If you're doing this for the first time, I'd recommend you just use 1 colour. But stay chunky because it's going to work best if you've got chunkier yarn. So we're going to go to the next one, which is here. I'm going to push our thumb and forefinger through, pick the yarn up and pull that through. So again, you've got those 2 loops, and then thumb and forefinger through the 2 loops, pick the yarn up and pull through the 2. So you can see we're starting to make some really chunky stitches. They look exactly the same on the top, and the more you practice, the neater they'll become. So we're going to do the next one, and then I'm going to finish the end, and then we'll come back and we'll do a half treble. So exactly the same principle, thumb and forefinger through the hole, pull through. There's your 2 loops. Thumb and forefingers through the 2 loops and pull through 2. I'm just going to pull it up so you can sort of see what it's starting to look like. And then I'm going to go all the way across here, and I'll meet you back when we're done. Okay, so I've gone right back round to the end. It's not perfect. I didn't think it was going to be, which is absolutely fine. But you can see here we've got effectively the foundation chain. A couple of things to note: it's not supposed to be super tight. It's finger crochet. I've got big fingers. It's not exactly mega holey because the yarn's super bulky. Also, if you are using 2 strands, just make sure that they're both taut, because sometimes you can get one strand that goes a bit awry and then you get a little bit of this. So yeah, but exactly the same as crochet. So we're going to do our turning chain again in exactly the same way. We are going to pull the yarn through and up, and then we're going to turn our work. And then you can see the stitches look the same, so visually nothing's different apart from you using your thumb and your forefinger. The stitches are the same, exactly where you're going to put your thumb and forefinger is the same. So we'll do another row so that you can see how to go into the stitches we've made, and then we'll do the half treble and then a treble. So the same principle, you're going to push your thumb and forefinger through that loop. Helps to just bring the yarn you're working from up to the top and the front. Push your thumb and forefinger through that stitch. Grab your yarn, pull through, 2 loops. Grab your yarn, pull through 2. First stitch completed. And then just go again all the way along, so thumb and forefinger. It's key here. So did you see that little bit then that just sort of went awry? So I'm going to pull that taut, pull up, pull through. So that's your first 2 stitches. So key thing is to note your thumb and forefinger have got to go through the loop all the time, or you're going to really struggle to pull it through the stitches. So I'm going to get to the end. I'll meet you guys there. So we're just back in the last, I just wanted to come and do the last stitch. Back in this last stitch here, it loops exactly the same as it would if you were crocheting with a hook. Curves down a little bit. Make sure you don't miss it, or it's gonna be really noticeable in this bulky yarn. So just do exactly the same thing. It will pull up. And it will sort itself out when we do that turning chain. Just like that. So here we are. Now we're curving a little bit. That's fine. I'm not worried about it. The more I go up, the more it'll uncurve. But it just does look fabulous. It really does. To all those that commented to run a rainbow yarn through this chunky, bravo, really, really good. Really good. Love it. So we're going to do now a half treble. Half treble. This time we're going to do a turning chain of 2 because this half treble stitch is going to be a little bit bigger. So thumb and forefinger through the loop, pull 1, pull 2, and turn. And then we're back on the other side. So this is where we get fiddly. What we're going to do the half treble, UK terms, so if you're in the US it'd be a half double crochet. You're going to wrap, you've got the loop on your thumb and your forefinger, and then you're going to wrap the yarn around again and just hold it in those fingers at the back just for now, or you can just sort of clamp it like that or pull it round to the back. And then you're going to go into your stitch as normal, but you're going to have the 2 loops on your fingers. So go in as normal, pick your yarn up from behind as normal and pull through. And then you've got those 3 loops. Exactly as you would if you were using a hook. Thumb and forefinger through all 3 loops. Bring that yarn through all 3. And that's your half treble. So we'll go for that again. Thumb and forefinger through. Yarn around them again and make sure you pull it out to the back so it doesn't get unhooked from your fingers. Push through that hole, pull that yarn through now, and then your 3 loops will be on your fingers. And then pull that yarn through, and that's your half treble, half double crochet US turns. So I'm just going to zoom out. You can see there, really nice bulky stitches, beautiful. So I'm going to do all the way down, and I'll meet you back when I'm done. Okay, so that's our half treble done. So the next stitch we're going to see is the treble stitch. So this time on your turning chain, you're going to want to do 3. So same principle, finger and thumb through, 1. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit tighter this time because this turning chain was a little bit loose. 2, 3, keep that on your thumb and forefinger, and then flip. Okay, so you can hopefully see the tops of your stitches that you did on the last round. Treble, yarn over, push through your loop, pull yarn through, 3 loops. It was off there. Okay, pull your yarn through your 2 loops like so. You've got 2 loops left, and then pull your yarn again through the last 2 loops. And there is your, so big that I've got to zoom out, treble stitch in finger crochet. So we'll go again, yarn around, push through, pull the yarn through, 3 loops on your hook, or your fingers should I say, yarn through 2 of those loops, and then again yarn through the remaining 2. Second treble. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can, we'll do one more treble together, and then I'm going to work up the rows, and we'll see what it starts to come out like when I've got quite a few rows in there. So one more treble together. So we're going to yarn around our fingers and thumb, push through the hole, pull the yarn through, 3 loops. Yarn comes through 2 of those loops, yarn comes through the last 2. So I'm going to do to the end. I'll show you guys what it looks like at the end, and then I'll put a bit more length in it. We're back. We've done our row of trebles, looking beautiful and chunky right there. I'm going to put some treble rows in now. I've got maybe half the ball left, and see if I can do it with the 2 balls to get a scarf, hopefully a cowl if not a scarf, and then I'll come back and I'll show you guys what it looks like at the end. So don't go anywhere. Good results are coming. Go and practice your finger crochet, rewind if you need to, and then come back and see what I've made. Okay you guys, so I'm at the end. Neglected to tell you how to fasten off, although it's pretty simple, exactly the same again as crochet. I've ran out of this one ball, but I'm not too bothered by that, because what I'm going to do is make this into a cowl. Nice little treat there for you, me nearly chopping my fingers off. So when you get to the end, just exactly this, well, this is how I fasten off. If you fasten off a different way, please let me know in the comments. But I just put your fingers through and pull your yarn end through all the way, and then pull tight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these two sides together, and it's going to be a cowl. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like on. So this is the finished result, no hook included. It's so warm. I can see me putting this under my coat on a really blustery day. Really warm. If you had your hair up, for instance, you could put it sort of covering your ears. And no hook, no needles, just these, a ball of yarn, and that's all you've needed. Even to sew it together, I think it's a great way to get the kids into sort of sewing things, and they don't need to, you know, threading the needles, really the worst bit. They don't need to do any of that. Get them some chunky yarn, teach them how to finger crochet, and they've got it, you know, they can sew it together with their fingers. Just a really good craft, especially if you're a beginner as well. Seeing how the yarn can work up together and how the different fibres of the yarn feel, what they can be made into. Just absolutely in love with it. I'll say it again, the people that said to put rainbow yarn through this wool, genius, absolutely genius, love it. Didn't think I was going to enjoy this yarn at all, but I really do. So that's how to finger crochet your 3 basic crochet stitches: the double crochet, the half treble, and the treble crochet. Something like this isn't unachievable. It's literally taken me a couple of hours to make this afternoon, and I've still got the rest of the day to do something else. Please drop a like on the video and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, so I'd really appreciate that. And leave me your comments down below. What else do you want to see me finger crochet? What else would you like to see finger crocheted? Be as bold as you like. I will give it a go. That's what I love to do. I love to, you know, give all the crochet things a go. And thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next Sunday. Videos will be up now every Sunday, so I'll see you then. Thank you.